2026 World Cup African teams. What can we say? Expected their performances or impressed? So, African teams, 10 of them actually qualified for the 2026 World Cup in the US, Canada, and Mexico. And yeah, we had expectations coming into this World Cup that a good number of these African teams would actually do more than what we actually are used to. African teams exiting very early in the tournament. But yeah, what we are having now looks like the repeat of the norm. Okay, so 10 teams came. We're quite very happy that 9 out of the 10 teams progress into the next stage, round of 32, because this is actually an expanded World Cup, right? So instead of the usual round of 16, we now have a round of 32. So 9 out of 10 qualified, and we're quite very happy, understandably so. We're quite very happy. Yeah, I think it was only Tunisia that missed out from qualifying from their group, yeah. But then what actually helped the African team, to have been honest, is that there was this option of the best loser qualifying. So a good number of them were able to make it through the round of 32 by becoming the best third place teams, right? So yeah, 9 out of the 10 qualified, and we were quite very happy. Unfortunately, only two would progress into the round of 16 out of the 9 that qualified. I was expecting at least like 4 or even 5 teams from Africa will progress out of the 9 to round of 16. And when the round of 16 matches started, I think we're seeing that teams like Cote d'Ivoire look like they will progress, because then they were leading Norway by 1-0. Okay. And then teams like VRC showed some prospects because they were leading England by 1-0. And of course, the one that broke our hearts so much was Senegal leading Belgium by 2-0. And somehow, those leads were squandered. Okay. So one would expect that at least a Senegal leading Belgium by 2-0 at the 88th minute of a World Cup match would have been quite relaxed that okay, Senegal will progress, because Senegal is Senegal. The recent African recent African, I don't want to call them champions now because Morocco are the champions, right? So the recent African Cup of Nations finalists who actually won the match uh, on the pitch. Okay, so one would expect that leading a team like Belgium, who have withdrawn or who has removed Jeremy Doku and Kevin De Bruyne from the match, at least at 88 minutes, leading them by 2-0, should progress, right? We were quite relaxed. I was relaxed myself that they would progress, but unfortunately, an equalizer was scored by Belgium, Romelu Lukaku at 89 minutes, and then at extra time 120th minute, or plus 5 minutes, Belgium scored the winner, which broke my heart, and I think the heart of many um, African football fans. Okay, so similar to DR Congo, to were leading England. Yeah, we knew that it would be a very difficult game for them. But then they were making us believe. Unfortunately, they squandered that lead, and then at the 86th minute, England scored the winner. And then for Ivory Coast, I mean, going into the game against Norway, I personally believe that Ivory Coast should actually win that match. Yes, Norway is a very good team, of course, with one of the best striker in the world in Erling Haaland. But then Ivory Coast is Ivory Coast. They, I think, have a very decent team going into this World Cup. They actually defeated France in the warm-up game to the World Cup. They won their opening match, right? So Ivory Coast is Ivory Coast. Going into the game against Norway, I think the first half Ivory Coast were quite very good. In the second half, they were quite good for the large part of the game. But then somehow, whatever happened, happened, and they gave Erling Haaland that slight half chance, and then he'll always bury it. Yeah. So they squandered the lead, and then they lost the match at the 86th minute of the game. Very bad. Of course, there was a game Cape Verde against Argentina. Of course, we all expected that Argentina, which are one of the favorites of the ongoing World Cup, will defeat Cape Verde, right? So it happened, but then they gave a fight that made us very proud. They lost the game 2-3 at extra time. They fought. They took the game to Argentina. It was quite very impressive to see. We were quite very proud of them. I wasn't expecting them to progress, and I was very impressed with the performance that they gave. Yeah, Ghana, very much disappointed in Ghana, to be honest. They lost the game against Colombia. Their captain, and of course, one of the most experienced team player on the side, and of course, their striker in one person, Jordan Ayew, did not even register a shot on target in the entire 90 minutes of a round of 32 game against a Colombia. That was really not nice to see. Yeah, Ghana didn't show urgency, they didn't show like they really wanted to win the match, and of course, I believe that they deserved to lose the match, and sadly, they lost the match. Algeria also lost their match. Was was sad to see, but yeah, by and large, two teams progressed into the next round. Morocco progressed into the round of quarterfinals already. Yeah, Morocco progressed to the quarterfinals, and they will be meeting France, who won their game against Paraguay. That will be a very, very dicey match to see, because then I am tipping France to win the tournament, and then my African Morocco, is now going to play against France. Of course, I am an African. I want Morocco to progress, or hopefully even to the final and even win the match. Yeah, win the trophy. So yeah, I'll be supporting Morocco, but it's going to be a very tough match, I believe, for Morocco. But we will see. I think they have the capacity to go toe-to-toe with France. I also still believe that France will win the match, but I think Morocco might pull up some good surprise, and then they could, who knows, win the match. Egypt, Egypt will be playing their round of 16 game against Argentina. Mm. It will be surprising to see Egypt winning Argentina to progress into the quarterfinals, but it is possible. But I think if I am to predict, I would give Argentina the win. But hey, this is the World Cup. Surprises could happen, and I am tipping Egypt to progress into the round of eight quarterfinals, beating Argentina, which might be very, 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 very hard to happen. But yeah, who knows? It could happen. It could happen. So by and large, in my opinion, apart from Morocco and probably Egypt, African teams underperformed at this World Cup. The same old story. I think teams like, of course, Nigeria, who surprisingly didn't qualify, And teams like Ivory Coast, Senegal should actually be aiming towards winning the World Cup given their rich footballing history over time. But they are still struggling to progress from group stage and the next round of 16 or round of 32, which is very, very sad to see. And there are a lot of factors that could be contributing. I definitely genuinely feel that it can never be talent. But I think there are a lot of organizational factors that could be contributing to African teams not progressing to next rounds comfortably or not going for the title. Teams like Ghana should be going for the title. They were at some point during 2010 at the quarterfinals, aiming to reach semifinals until the Suarez um, goal line goal line hand stoppage of the ball stopped them. Yeah, teams like Ghana, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Senegal, and of course Morocco should be going for the title. Unfortunately, it looks like Morocco is the only team that is even going for the title. We're at the semifinals at the last World Cup in Qatar. They are currently at the quarterfinals now to meet France. Maybe they could also progress to semifinals and maybe finals as well. So it looks like Morocco are the only teams that are likely pushing for the title. Meanwhile, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Senegal, Nigeria, and even Cameroon, who didn't also qualify, should be leading the line for Africa. I hope things change. Most problems, I believe, comes from the organizational setup, administrative problems, than even the talent. Because I believe that we have the talent if we can develop them like Morocco is doing. Because Morocco is of course, bringing in diaspora, right? But then if we can work on our organizational structures and maybe remove some of those problems that is affecting our national team. I believe that African teams could possibly go for the title. Maybe in 2030, that will be hosted in Spain and Morocco. But yeah, we're proud of Morocco. We're proud of Egypt for leading the line for us for qualifying to the next round, and then we will see how these things go. Good luck to Egypt, and also good luck to Morocco.